Hey guys, how you doing? So I'm assuming a lot of people probably want to know why I testify for the wife of Jesus Christ, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that story too, cause it's kind of weighing on me, and people will probably think, well, he's crazy, he's probably just saying these things and whatnot, but I'm gonna give you the story of why I testify and why I believe she is quite literally God in the flesh. Anyway, and this is why I'm really emphasizing on all you guys going to share the video with Jalen Wilson, and I'm sure the bride of Christ is going to see this video anyway, but this is why I want you guys to really share this video with Jalen Wilson, because I feel like we not really walking in faith if we're not really exposing all the lies, or it's not even lies, but if we're not really being completely honest with ourselves about why we believe, because it's not enough to just make a video and say this and say that, but not really give a testimony of, why I believe. But I'm gonna start so like when I first, I guess I'm gonna give you the whole testimony of my walk with the Lord and how I even came to this point. But I guess I gotta let it all out. I've never really told anybody this. So here we go. And for the person that doesn't really want me to tell their story, I'm not gonna include your name. I'm not gonna include your name, but you will most likely see this video. And it's it has to be done, because there's nothing left for me to leave behind after all is said and done. And I'm not gonna leave anything behind, not for anybody to have any suspicion of or want to know why this or why that. I'm gonna just go ahead and put it all out here, so I'm just getting to the point where I'm starting to realize too many people take things to the grave, and that's a real good reason why a lot of people don't really make it to the kingdom of heaven, is because a lot of people not really being honest with themselves and being honest with others. So I'm here to be honest with yourselves and be honest with others. And you guys can say, well, he's only saying this because he feel like his time is short. And yeah, I feel like my time is short. I feel like a lot of people's time is short right now. And I'm not just speaking on behalf of me. I'm also speaking on behalf of the world. Everybody think they have so much time, and the generation I grew up in, we thought that, I'm just gonna live my life and I'm gonna try to get it right when I get old. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. This generation that we living in right now, we're not gonna see old age. We're not gonna see old age. And God forgive me if I'm not telling the truth, but I don't see us seeing old age, especially the generation that's even under my generation, because it's gotten so bad. It's like the newer generation isn't learning anything from the past. So it's like, what's the point? Like, where are we even heading if nobody's even learning anything from the past mistakes of your ancestors? But anyway, I'm going to talk to you guys about how I even came to the faith. I used to be in spirituality and always felt like I was going to be used for a purpose in this world, regardless. Well, no, I always believed in God. I believed in God as a kid. My mom raised me in the church, Rare Creek Missionary Baptist Church, and I love that church to this day. And one thing I would say is I lost faith because I could not figure out a way to stop living in sin. See, a lot of people like to say, oh, this is why I'm not following God, or this is why I'm not following God. But a really common reason why a lot of people stop following God is because they figure out, and they not really figure out, but they realize that it's not an easy walk. It's not really an easy walk, especially when especially when you already got, I don't really know how to put it, but I'm gonna just say it's not the easiest walk. That's why so few people even make it. But I couldn't stop myself from living in lust, and it got to a point where I was so tired of feeling ashamed of the things that I'd done. I eventually just turned away from the Lord, and I eventually turned away from the Lord because I was getting so tired of feeling ashamed of the things that I'd done. So I turned away from God, and I tried to find newer things that fit my lifestyle of sin. So it was hard for me to put away the sin, so I just try to look for new things to help compensate and make me feel like God wasn't really there or God wasn't really real. But I always believed that God was real for some reason, because for some reason you can call me a sissy, you can call me a weak man, you can call me whatever you want to call me, but it's like, for some reason, I was always brought to tears when it came to really being honest with the Lord, especially in the church, when we used to do this little gathering thing at the very end of the day, where the pastor used to just have everybody just come to the altar, and everybody would just stand in the altar, and he would be in the middle, and he would tell everybody, if you have prayers for people, just say them. Just say who you praying for, and just say their name. And if I remember correctly, he would, when you pray for them, at the same time as you're praying as you giving out names that you want to be prayed for, like people are just saying family names like the Johnson family, and then they're saying any type of family last name, and then as everybody's saying who they want to pray for as far as the family name or just the person's name in general, he would go around and anoint people's heads with oil. And I always felt like the church really brought a lot of emotions out of me. So I always kind of felt like there was a reason behind it. Like I always had strong emotions for God, even as a child. I'm trying to hold back tears right now, because it's like, but I really don't. It's like I'm getting to a point where I feel like, I don't know, it's okay to cry, but it's like I don't even feel like there's no point in crying, because it's like I feel like people are going to use that against me, like, how is this monster even crying or whatever. But I don't feel like, I'm not even going to get into that. We're going to continue on the story. But yeah, I always felt like, I always had strong emotions for the Lord, even as a kid. Anyway, so I ended up turning away from God because I couldn't stop myself from sinning and lusting. And I didn't really know what to do as a kid, and I didn't really know too many people that were actually beating that type of sin. And I'm talking about pornography, and I'm really talking about porn in general. But we're not even gonna get into that. Lust is lust, no matter what way you go about it. But anyway, so years later, I mean, I turned away from God when I was about like 13, and I did have moments where I came back to him, but I'm not even gonna get into all that. I'm gonna just go ahead and fast forward to like the real moment where it was just like eye-opening for me to it was really eye-opening for me to realize that, God is real. And I wish it would have never happened this way, but it did happen this way. And I'm going to go ahead and explain that story. And you can say, I mean, people can say I'm a snitch. You can say, oh, he's bringing people into it and all that, but it's like, it don't matter at the end of the day, because God see everything. He gonna judge everybody regardless. So you might as well just get honest with yourselves, because it's gonna be bored up regardless. Whether you want it to be bored up now or later, it's still gonna get bored up. And quite frankly, it's gonna get bored up a lot sooner than you think, because I ain't even gonna get into that. Anyway, like I said, the truth always prevails regardless. So there ain't no point in trying to say, oh, well, he did this, he snitched, he said this, why he do this, why he say that. I'm just going to say it. But I had a friend, and this friend was going through a lot, and I realized that he was going through a lot. But during this point, this is like when me getting out of high school, I was into spirituality at this point, law of attraction, and whatnot. And that, I'm gonna just say I was into spirituality or whatever we really call that. But yada yada, I was into the law of attraction and whatnot. I always felt like I was connected to the universe in some type of way. And I talked to this friend, and we were just having this deep conversation one night, and he was telling me about a lot of things that he had going on with him mentally. And with me, I didn't really know what he meant at that time, but he was struggling with a lot of spiritual things. I want you guys to put the pieces together. I'm not gonna put nobody's business right out there, but he was struggling with a lot of things mentally and spiritually, and the mental and the spiritual are connected. But basically, he was struggling with a lot of dark spirits, and I didn't really understand that at the time. So we talked, and I don't even remember the whole conversation of how it went down. But basically, he said something about, do you want me to show you? So I said, I mean, if you really, no. I told him to meditate, because I believe that at the time I was believing in meditation and whatnot. And I said, just meditate and it'll help you clear your thoughts. And he told me, he already warned me. He said, when I meditate, it makes me lose control and whatnot. So he did warn me, but I didn't know what he exactly meant by that. But when he started meditating, he started manifesting. And this is the first time I ever seen anything demonic. I'm just gonna say that. I don't necessarily want to say these things, but it's really nothing left to leave behind at this point. So I'm gonna just say it was a demonic manifestation. And this is the first time I really seen it. Now, at first I was afraid, but then something in my heart was like, I just thought about my past, and it's like I was into spirituality at that point, but as soon as I saw this, it took me for a shock, and I got afraid for a moment. And at one moment I was preparing myself to actually attack him in case anything happened, but then I said, no, this is my friend, so I'm not gonna attack him in case something goes wrong. And people would think about what they would do in this moment. It was really something like straight out of a scary movie. But when it happened, I thought about him as my friend, and I thought about my past, about how I was upbringing in the church. So I knew right then I didn't have the Holy Spirit. I didn't really have anything, but for some reason I felt courageous enough to be there with him and try to exercise. I don't know why I did it, but my heart would not let me run from that, because I just felt like I already knew him, and I knew he was in torment for so many years, but I didn't really know how to help him. And he was seeking help. So when I saw that moment, I knew I couldn't do it on my own. So I just called out on God, and I just said, God, bring your angels of warfare. I just started going ballistic, like, and it was like a heart pounding experience. It was like, I knew, like, you can feel the energy just shift in the room. So when it happened, it was like, it was just one of those situations. When it happened, it was like, dang, I don't know how to put it. Like, he couldn't control his body, because when he started meditating, he started manifesting, and he could not, he was basically falling out of position. So then I was right beside him, and then I noticed that my arm started going numb. So I said, oh snap, here we go. Now I feel like I'm about to go into position. So I knew right then, in that moment when this happened, I was thinking so many thoughts at the same time. But as soon as I realized that the same thing that was happening to him was literally about to happen to me, I already knew I had to call out on Christ. So I started calling out on Christ. I started preaching, hollering, everything. Like, you would not believe the things that took down that day. And to this day, nobody knows anything about that story like me and him. I don't even think no more than 3 people as of today, or maybe, yeah, just 3 as of today really know that story between me and who else I've told. I probably only me and him know, and I believe my mother knew that story, because it was so much at the time. It was so much to deal with at the time that I just started breaking down and crying, because it was so much to deal with. Like, so basically, I started praying for him, and this went on for like 10 minutes, and it would start up, and then it would go back. He would calm down, and then it would start up again. It was quite literally something that you would think is like, it's something out of a scary movie. So when it all happened and was all said and done, I couldn't deliver him, and it wasn't time for his deliverance. But after that experience, I was definitely affected, because at that point, I knew the devil was real, and the devil knew I knew he was real. So at that point, I was a threat, because a lot of people, they say like, well, why don't I see the things you see? Because the devil don't got any business with you if you don't even know that he exists. But once you know he exists, he will attack you a lot. Especially depending on who you are. He might not attack you if you living in sin and you doing the things that he wants you to do, but if you somebody that he knows that could be a threat to the kingdom, yeah, he will attack you. But anyway, it got to the point where I finally had to talk to my mother about it, and then I ended up breaking down and talking to this lady about it, and this lady was a woman of God, and this is where I feel like everything is kind of tying in, and I didn't really see it as now, but I told God to use me as a vessel. I was so desperate for help at the time. I told the Lord to use me as a vessel. I didn't care how the Lord needed to use me. I was just willing to give him everything I needed to get out of that state of torment. And that's why I say people be thinking like, I ain't gonna say people be thinking, but that's why I be saying, you know, people, they don't realize that, you know, whether you go to heaven or hell or not, you still got to be grateful to the Father, because, and I'm still grateful to the Father, because I could have been gone a long time ago. My mind and my body and my spirit was so broken back then. I probably would have lost my mind a long time ago. And I'm lucky to be here today. Even though I'm going through a lot right now, I'm still lucky to be breathing air as we speak. But this is gonna be another long video. I'm sorry these videos are so long, but it's just so much that I think about. So when I do make a video, it's like it's all coming out, and I really can't stop it. But long story short, I was crying out to this lady of God outside my grandma's store, and I didn't even really know the lady like that. And But she comforted me because she knew something was wrong. So it was like, and for some reason, doing all of that, I just told God to use me as a vessel. Like I said, I think it was something where I just felt like I had to say at that moment, because I knew I turned away from God at one point, and I knew that if I was ever going to get the help of the Lord or anything at this point, I felt like I had to really give him myself. So I just said, use me as a vessel, Lord, use me as a vessel. So I said that. So I was driving home. Well, I was driving on the bridge, and this is like, I used to always pray in my car. So I'll be just driving down the road, and I'll just pray in my car, because I can't really see, God say go to your private place when you pray and stuff like that, because sometimes God doesn't want everybody to see the things that he does for you right then. So I used to pray a lot in my car as I'm driving down the road and whatnot. And one night I was driving on the bridge, on the Washington Bridge, for the people that know that bridge, and I just felt a presence. It's like a spiritual, it felt like, it's not something I can describe. It's something that you just gotta, it's something that you just know when you know. So when it happened, I was just driving on the road, and I was still spiritually affected, and I was going through so many problems. I was going through heart, I was having heart, like my heart used to just start beating so fast. It was like incredible anxiety. It was like I was having panic attacks without knowing where they were coming from. So I was just, I couldn't figure out why I was having so many panic attacks, but I was basically demonically oppressed after that whole situation with my friend and whatnot. But I didn't realize what it really was at that point. At the time, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a gift. I know how dumb you might think I was, but I thought it was a gift, and my friend thought it was a gift, and we thought it was like some type of spiritual warning of when bad spirits are around. And I'm not saying I was completely wrong. I mean, but it was definitely a spiritual oppression. But yeah, I was still going through all this, and I had cried out to the woman the day before, or the same day, and then that night I was just driving down the road praying. I don't even know if I was necessarily praying, but I think I had music on, but my mind was just centered on God. And I think yeah, I was just driving down the road at night, and then all of a sudden I felt a spiritual presence come from the crown of my head, and it was almost like, it feels like you're being touched by, like, it feels like I don't know how to describe it, but it just feels it feels good. It doesn't feel bad. It feels good. You quite enjoy it when you do feel it. So I felt that, and then I just started speaking in tongues, and it was like, and people, you can say it's demonic tongues, you can say it was, you can say whatever tongues you think it was, but I knew it was from God, because it came from the crown of my head. It came from above. And I just started speaking in tongues, just praying. I didn't even know why. I didn't even know what I was saying. I didn't know why it was happening, but it just felt good. It just pray in them tongues and just let the Lord pray for me. That's how I felt. So that was the first time I was I was baptized in the Holy Spirit. That was the first time that happened. And from there on out, it was a long journey from there, because now that I had the Holy Spirit, the devil was really going to attack me. And through that, and through praying, through the Holy Spirit and everything else, the Holy Spirit was kicking a lot of bad spirits out of me, just personally, just between me and the Holy Spirit. But everybody thinks that you got to go to a priest or exorcist to be exorcised, but that's not the case. If God gives you the Holy Spirit, he can do it for you. And it's not something that you necessarily have to go to somebody else for. And And honestly, I would, in my heart, I don't feel like you should have to go to somebody else for it. But I'm not gonna say that though. I won't say that. But anyway, it's a long story. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, so I went into psych ward. It's not really called psych ward, but the rehabilitation center, because nobody really knew what was going on and nobody really understood it at the time, and they just thought it was, they thought that it was purely demonic for the most part and mental. Not gonna say demonic, I'm gonna say mental. They thought I was just mentally unstable, and I was mentally unstable, and because I didn't know everything about the Holy Spirit. I just knew I had it. So there was a lot of moments where I would just walk and just speak in tongues and a whole lot of other things. So I don't blame anybody for thinking that I was crazy. Quite frankly, a lot of people are gonna think you crazy anyway for following God. But yeah, I went to the psych ward and all that. But I'm gonna just go ahead and fast forward. There's no real point in even bringing up that I went to the psych ward. But one thing I say about going to the psych ward is a lot of people in the psych ward are demonically oppressed, and a lot of people that are in the psych ward that are demonically oppressed know a lot about the Lord. So people be thinking that people in the mental institutions that are going through so many mental problems aren't people that have a chance or a hope, but the people that really get attacked by the devil the most be the main people that be so close to salvation. The devil ain't really attacking nobody that ain't no threat to him. I'm gonna just be honest with you. He don't have time for that. There's no point. Like, he ain't worried about nobody that ain't going against the kingdom of Christ. So don't think that the devil really gonna be bothered with you too much, because he's really not. I wouldn't be bothered with you either if I knew that you was already doing everything that I don't really have to make you do. So anyway, yeah, that's another thing to say. So a lot of people be trying to say people crazy, whatever. You don't know nobody's story, so don't judge nobody. You don't know what nobody been through. But I'm gonna go ahead and get fast forward to the wife of Jesus Christ. And during this whole period, when I had got close to the Lord, I met Jalen Wilson on YouTube, and he was a young individual, and I was a young individual, and we both had the Holy Spirit, and so I just felt a connection to him. Like, okay, we two young people on a journey to get closer to the King. So he was somebody that I was very I felt very connected to at the time. But anyway, fast forward, I have the Holy Spirit, but I'm still struggling with casting out all my evil spirits, and I'm still struggling on my journey with the Lord. The Holy Spirit is a helper, but the Holy Spirit, it can't do every little thing for you. You still got to be dedicated, and you still got to be walking in the faith. And the Holy Spirit can't keep cleaning you out if you keep sinning. You keep sinning and sinning and sinning. The Holy Spirit, like, you go sin, and then you get more demons in you, just for the Holy Spirit to clean them out. And then as soon as you get cleaned out, you're going right back into sin, just for the Holy Spirit to clean them out even more. So it's just like, it was just a cycle. It was just like constant deliverance every time, because like the Holy Spirit was really trying to help me. It was getting to the point where every time I would pray, I would go through deliverance, and it was like, when is it going to stop? When is it going to end? And it got to the point where I even reached out to people online to help me with deliverance. And I met this, and this was kind of the point where I was getting to the point where I felt like I couldn't really break the generational curse that was in my family. And I would say, I think that curse was lust. But anyway, I went to there was this one guy that was on deliverance, and he had years and countless years of deliverance, and we went through hours and hours and hours of deliverance, and it was like to the point where he was just like, you have so many spirits in you. It's like it would Like, I think if we would have went through deliverance for a whole day, it probably would have. It just felt like it was just never going to end. And I know I haven't talked about the wife of Jesus Christ yet, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm building up to that. But anyway, so we went through all these hours of deliverance, and I just started losing hope. I was like, I just feel like I'm never gonna fully cleanse myself. Like, I never felt like I was gonna get free from whatever it was. And like, we went through deliverance, and it was like I was literally putting all my sins out there. I felt like I was putting all my sins out there, but I don't know, something was just, I don't know what it was. And I even went to my own pastor for deliverance. So I tried, and it's like I really tried to reach out, and this is where I made my biggest mistake. So fast forward, I was in a rut, couldn't really figure out anybody that could help me. Then I came across the wife of Jesus Christ. And I texted her and I said, I do believe, I don't know yet. I don't know if I don't know everything about you, and I don't necessarily know what to truly believe right now. And I texted her and I said, but I do believe you are a godly woman. And then she said something to me as far as like, you will see, and just be I think she said just wait, just give her time and whatnot. So that's what I honestly should have did, was just wait and give her time. But this is what I did. I said, I got down on my knees and I prayed. And through this whole point, let me make this clear. I was going through deliverance. I went through deliverance with a lot of different people, and every deliverance, let me make this very clear. Every deliverance that I went through, for the most part, felt very forced. Not really forced, but like, it just felt very, how do I put it? It just felt very, what's the word for it? It felt kind of painful. It felt like it was a real struggle to fight against whatever I had going on inside. And this is why I really testify for the wife of Jesus Christ, God in the flesh. And I believe in her miracles, and I hope you believe in her miracles. And the only reason I really fell from grace, I'm gonna let you know why I fell from grace. This is really the only reason, for the most part. That's why I'm not trying to blame anybody at the end of the day, but it kind of is what it is on this part. But so I got, after she said just give her time and you will see, I got down on my knees and I prayed and I said, Lord, is this your wife? And the Lord didn't directly speak to me, but what I felt, I went through a lot of spiritual deliverance in the past, but when this spiritual deliverance hit me, it was something different about this spiritual deliverance. This spiritual deliverance that I went through, it was like, how do I put it? It was almost like I knew that whatever it was that was taking part in the deliverance had power that had power that the demons that I had in me thought that they were so strong to fight against. They just could not. They could not. They had no chance against this power. Like I literally had to walk outside and lay down in the ground, face down, and just let whatever was delivering me at the time do what it had to do. And it felt loving. That's the main difference between this deliverance. It felt very loving, and it felt like everything that these demons were trying to hold on to in my body just stood no chance against it. It was like, it was literally like it was happening, and it felt good. it felt good to be going through a lot of deliverance and a lot of spiritual deliverance that people go through. It can feel very stressful and scary and painful, but it was like there was a sense of love in the deliverance. The deliverance, it felt very pure and it felt very good to really be going through that deliverance. And that's the one time I'll say it was a major difference, and it was the only time I ever felt a deliverance that felt like great. It felt so good. It felt, I can't describe how it felt, but it was one of those things where it was almost like you could just, it looked, on the outside it looked like I was going through so much, but on the inside it was like, on the inside I was just laying in the dirt, and it was like I was just feeling so great to be just relieved of what I was going through at the time. And this is why I really do testify for the wife of Jesus Christ, because I believe when I asked the Lord, is this the wife of Jesus Christ, he showed me the power that the wife of Jesus Christ has, because she is God in the flesh. But yeah, this went on for like an hour, not an hour, but like 30 minutes. And it got to the point where the only reason I had to stop it is because I kind of felt like people were going to think like very weirdly of what was going on, because cars were driving by and I was just sitting there in the dirt, just going through it basically. And what I did say was, I believe. And when I said I believed, it settled down. And then I walked in my house, and this is all I'm really gonna say. I felt like after that happened, I was not fully delivered, and I felt like the devil knew. He knew that I knew that there was something about this woman that was very different than anything else I ever came across. And it was like he was angry, and I felt like he was making me angry inside, because he knew that he knew his time was almost up. And so I just looked through his videos, and I was just looking through her videos after that, just looking for things to try to learn more about her. And I came across her Jalen Wilson video, and she said things about Jalen that really made me just lose sight of all the things and all the good things that she did previously do for me. And it was like I texted her, and I just told her how I felt, and it was like all that love and compassion I just had and I just got before, it was like it literally just turned to wrath. And it was like after that, my Holy Spirit was just it was getting silenced, and it was leaving me, and I can feel it leaving me. And I knew that I had made a terrible decision. I know I had made a terrible decision, so I just cried out, I prayed out, I said, I'm sorry, Father, forgive me, all of that. I did it all. But that's just the sad truth of the story, is that's just the sad truth of the story, that some mistakes you make is you really can't turn back from. So long story short, I felt a burning in my chest. So I don't really know what that burning in I was being attacked by angels at this point. I've been attacked by the devil. I've been attacked by demons. I've been attacked by all that, but this felt like fire. Like it felt like my chest was literally burning. And this went on for about, I don't know how long it really went on for, but it went on for a while. And it was like all I can do was just ask the Lord for forgiveness. And just like it really sent me down a dark spiral of just feeling like there was just nothing else I can do, and it was all over right then. But you know, that's why I say, guys, remain humble. Because if you ever exalt yourself, you will be humbled, and if you ever humble yourself, you will be exalted. So don't come against her and try to say this or say that. If you don't believe, just leave. Just leave, because I tell you one thing, it's worse to come against at the end of the day. But that was pretty much my story. And then from there on out, it was a dark road that I went down, thinking that the Lord just really wasn't looking at me no more, and thinking that the Lord didn't really care for me no more, and whatnot. But that doesn't change anything. I still told the Lord to use me as a vessel, and I felt like when He did give me the Holy Spirit that same day, it didn't matter whether the Holy Spirit was there or not. At the end of the day, I was still gonna be used for a vessel, because I literally asked Him for that. So that's really the main reason I feel like I'm here today to even speak about this. But long story short, after that, I felt like the Lord wasn't even watching me anymore. So I went down a road of sin and just not caring anymore, because I didn't know how to even turn back or what to do to make it right. So I didn't know what to really do. Like, I didn't know how to be good anymore at that point. I didn't know what to do right at that point. And people say, well, why did you do this and why did you do that? Well, that was kind of part of the reason. I felt like I didn't really see a chance of ever really finding any salvation. So a lot of things I did after that just made things worse. But the thing why I take all blame for the decisions that I made is because even though I felt in my heart there was no hope for salvation for me, that still didn't make it right, because I still knew the truth. And the truth was, sin is sin, and it's still something you shouldn't do, regardless if you have no hope of salvation or not. It's still destroying you. It don't matter. It don't matter if you ain't got no hope of salvation. It's still destroying you. It's still destroying others. So, people wonder why I did these things or why I did that. Is because I really, at the time, I felt like there was no hope for me. And yeah, that's basically my story. And you guys know the rest from there on out. But that's really why I believe in the wife of Jesus Christ. And I wouldn't be telling you these things if I didn't. I'm not the type of person to be I think God always knew I've always been somebody that loves the truth. Every time I found myself getting closer to God, I always wanted to expose my sins. And He knew that one day I was gonna be the one to just tell it like it is, regardless of whether I go to heaven or hell. I was still gonna tell the truth, because shoot, I'm still grateful. I'm still grateful. I mean, I'm still grateful, because like I said, I could have been lost a long time ago. The Lord didn't have to come to me. That's why I say you are saved by grace. You're not saved by who you are. You're saved by grace. Just because the Lord felt the grace in His heart to bless you. Just because. So I could have been gone a long time ago. I'm still grateful to be here today. But like I said, you guys got to y'all got to start taking her serious, because she is your only hope. She is your only hope. Man, that's all I got to really say. I was gonna confess all my sins, because I feel like, why don't I just put it all on the table and just tell you guys everything I've done? Because I feel like if I do confess my sins, I'll put that in the next video. The reason I feel like I should confess all my sins is because I challenge everybody I challenge everybody who sees me confess all my sins, and I have a lot of dark sins, and you guys are gonna not look at me the same, but that's fine. The only thing I want you guys to do is to look at it, and I don't care if you judge me, you can judge me, but what I want you to do is take a step and take a leap of faith to do it yourself, because quite literally, if we don't start talking and if we don't start being honest about all the things we holding inside, it's really going to hurt us later. It's time to be honest. It's time to be truthful, because the truth is coming out whether you like it or not. It's not something you can stop. It's not. So you might as well hop on the boat and be for it, because you can't stand against something that you ain't winning against anyway. You might as well go ahead and be for it. And a lot of people think, that's why I really want to emphasize, a lot of people think that I'm trying to make things right and all that, but I'm really just doing the will of the Father. Like I said, I'm not gonna speak pure negativity on my life. But one thing I will say is that, how do I put this? One thing I will say is, I think I already said it, but one thing I will say is that just because you feel like you ain't got no hope of making it to the kingdom of heaven, it don't give you no right to stop loving the Father, because the Father still, because how you gonna stop loving somebody that has always loved you? They still love you even when you don't think they love you. So it's just it's not in my heart to act like I still don't have love for the Lord. It's not in my heart. I still have love for the Lord, and I always will have love for the Lord, because I wouldn't be here today without him. Honestly, I wouldn't be here today without him. I would have been gone 2 years ago. I was going through so much mental anguish and everything else that if the Lord didn't come down and do something for me, I was quite literally probably gonna be driven to madness, because it was a lot. It really was a lot, and it's just one of those things where it's like, it's time to speak up and just tell the truth, because the truth is gonna come out anyway. The lies of the devil never prevail. So it's time to start being honest. And like I said, my next video is probably just going to be pure confessions, because I want everybody to just learn from my mistakes. There's still a chance for this world. Learn from my mistakes. Truly learn from my mistakes, because you guys think that you guys don't have a fear for the Lord, but the Lord knows everything you fear. So don't think the Lord ain't gonna put no fear in your heart, because He will. He definitely will. There's a lot I can talk about. There's a lot more I can say, but this is a 48-minute video, so I'm gonna just stop. All praise to God. All praise to God in the flesh. Wife of Jesus Christ. Take it on home. Take it on home, wife of Jesus Christ. I'm very proud to say, even though I might be in a dark hole in my life right now, I'm still proud to say I do believe. I do believe. And I'm glad that even though I've caused a lot of destruction in people's lives, I hope that, at least one soul may be saved, maybe saved by just me just putting the truth out there. I hope that somebody really takes time to just think about why I'm saying all these things and why I'm really letting it all out, and just understand that there's a reason for all this. I'm not getting up here to talk to make videos about things that I don't take seriously. Because I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just hope somebody really takes heed. Takes heed now, cause it's about to get scary, and it's about to get scary fast. And it's not gonna be something that you think you prepared for. Even the people that's trying to prepare for it, that's been preparing for it for years, they will never be prepared for it. Quite frankly, the only people that's gonna be prepared for it are the people that are sealed by the wife of Jesus Christ. Everybody else, you think you know what's gonna happen, you think you ready for it. Trust me, God got a surprise, because he already know what everybody thinking. So don't think you ready for it. Don't ever think this. This is probably why I'm here today. Don't ever think you can outsmart God, because he already know what you're thinking. Don't ever think that. Don't ever think that in your life. Don't ever think that in your existence. Don't ever think that you smarter than God. Don't ever think you gonna outsmart him. Don't ever think he don't even know your next move, because he already know. He already know. He wouldn't have wrote the Bible if he didn't already know anyway. But yeah, God is all knowing. So don't think you're getting over on him, because you're not. You're not at all. That's why, I don't know, I think I'm done with this video. I think I'm done with this video. I think I done talked enough. But I think I'm gonna make one more video, and that's gonna be it. Lord have mercy on us all.